Hello, everyone. This is Zami Eccles-Irwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Assistant Director of the Austin Comedy Film Festival. We are gearing up for our summer 2023 screening, which is going to take place on July 30th at the Austin Film Society Cinema. And today I'm talking with two participating filmmakers. David Wagner and David Allensworth are the creators behind the film Imaginary Friends. Thank you to both Davids for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And can you tell us briefly what your roles were in the creation?
Dave, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So Dave and I co-directed the short, proof of concept / short. We produced it as well, and we helped develop also. Both of us are writers. We come from the writing background, so we kind of threw our hats in all of the sort of roles in production. But mainly we were the co-directors.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell me what inspired this film.
Yeah, Dave, I'll quickly take that.
That's your.
So I'm a screenwriter, adjunct professor at the UCLA professional program in screenwriting, and one of my students, Jack Hutsey, shout out to Jack.
Jack.
He wrote a really funny 30-minute single camera live action comedy called Imaginary Friends, which is what our short is based on. I read it. I loved it. I gave it to Dave. Dave is my writing partner, and he loved it as well, and he saw the potential in it. So both Dave and I optioned the script. We both developed it further together with Jack, and we come from the feature world. I've been lucky enough to have written some features that have gotten produced, and we don't have a lot of experience in the TV genre, or the TV medium. And we decided, in order for us to kind of sell this as a TV concept, we wanted to prove to everyone what this could look like on screen. So we decided to pull our resources together and develop a short sort of proof of concept to show everyone what kind of series this can be.
Okay, awesome. Anything to add also, David?
Yeah, and the process of shrinking this from a full pilot down to something that's half the size or less was an interesting experience. But we noticed that, well, one, Jack was totally on board, and it kind of lent itself to shrinking the story down, so we still had a beginning, middle, and end to our short, so that it kind of stands on its own, but you could see where it potentially can go as a proof of concept for a TV series. So we were really happy about that.
Okay, totally. I'm curious. The film is very fun, and I mean, there's tons of crazy costumes and stuff like that. What was the on-set process like, especially being that it's kind of ensemble cast? What was it like for you guys?
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, fun was the right word right there. I mean, we had just the best crew. They were all having a great time, and our stars, Soleil Moon Frye and Josh Banday and Greg Grunberg, and Aiden Sky and Scott, like all these. I mean, everybody was there because it was just so much fun. I mean, you look at everybody in their costumes, so that kind of passion and energy translated on the set, and we were all there. The fun may have felt like chaos, at times, but really, we were all motivated to get each set piece done. We shot the whole thing on one soundstage, so in a weekend. So nice. It was, a pretty fast process, but everybody was excited.
Okay, totally. Anything to add?
I second that. Other than working with Dave, he's a pain in the ass. He's a prima donna. He needed his own trailer. Huge honey wagon, extra large. Just would not work with the actors. Just a total nightmare.
Busted the budget. Yeah.
Sure. No, Dave and I have known each other since college. Dave and I are not only collaborators with work, but we're also close personal friends. So it was really a lot of fun. And as an artist, it is so hard, and all the planets have to align. Little miracles have to happen in order for anything to get made and anything to get done. So totally. When you're on a set and you're shooting something that you helped create, there's no more cathartic feeling than that, of like just a beautiful feeling of collaborating with other artists and seeing your vision come to life. Is, you know, it's a feeling that I everyone should experience. It's amazing.
Totally. Well, okay. I'm curious then. So you guys have worked together for a long time. You gotta have that chemistry. You come from the feature world. What did you learn from making this? You know, either about the craft in general or about, you know, specifically making some smaller proof of concept series. What'd you take away from this?
Go ahead, Dave.
Because we had a tight budget,
Mhm.
and we knew we can only shoot this in a weekend, or we're screwed, basically. So, and I'm in New York, by the way, and he's in LA. So it was
Okay.
shot in LA. So it was, you know, time was definitely limited to getting it done. And that experience kind of taught us to, you know, stay focused throughout. We're having a good time, but we have to really keep that vision very clear and make solid decisions, or the whole thing can, you know, go off the rails. And before you know it, you didn't make your day.
Right.
You know, your soundstage rental things cost money. You know,
Totally.
so we were pressed for time. We literally shot to literally like closing time on Sunday night. You know, and so that's a big takeaway. You know, film can be that way, but you have a little bit of flexibility in your shooting days. Try to get something the next day. This was a really tight schedule.
Totally.
Dave?
And what about you, David?
Yeah, you know, it's being efficient with your time, and I think Dave and I did a ton of prepping before the shoot that helped us prepare for the 2 days that we had. Hiring people that you trust and that are talented, and from my personal standpoint, that are smarter than me, so that I feel confident, which really helped. And
That's why Dave hired me.
exactly. Yeah, and just snort a lot of coke so that you can really,
Don't quote that.
make the
The
day,
Hollywood special.
right?
I love it. Well, you know, so I'm wondering, one thing that I really liked about it is just like there's so much good chemistry between the actors. And I'm wondering, are these people that you've worked with before, or do they have, you know, close personal backgrounds? How'd you elicit that chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't worked with we didn't work with a ton of people before. I was friends with Greg Grunberg, who really did me a solid. Greg has been in Star Wars, Alias. He's a Felicity, an incredible character actor.
Heroes.
I knew him on a personal level. He did us a favor. But and Dave, you could speak to this. And Soleil Moonfry, we got through a personal friend of ours that knew her, that worked on
Okay.
her documentary on Hulu, I believe, called Kid 90. And so obviously, you know, this business is all about collaboration. It's all about networking. It's all about who you know. And we pulled a lot of favors. And Dave found a great casting director too.
Yeah,
Hugh.
Liz Lewis. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's based out in New York, and she has LA casting as well. But Liz Lewis was able to get that casting call out there and really go through all of the audition tapes and really whittle down. I mean, that's how we found Scott Bender. And actually, Josh Band-Aid came via Liz, going through agencies and really finding, you know, I mean, he played an incredible goofy Dread that was like, I mean, he's a star. I mean, that guy. So, you know, and Aiden Sky came through a personal connection to Dave. And so,
Right.
you know, you piece it together and everybody contributed, you know, so.
It's interesting too, Dave, and because this was my first. Dave had already directed a feature before. This was my first attempt at directing, and there's a personal aspect to it too. Writing personal letters to actors, basically begging them to, do us a favor, and that was one of the things we did with Josh Band-Aid. Is we reached out, we both wrote something personal to him. He was coming off of a show called Upload that was,
On Amazon.
a big hit kind of show, and he was just emerging. He just booked he's on a show called Not Dead Yet on ABC, and so super busy actor, and super talented. And luckily, through Liz Lewis, we kind of learned that this is what you do as a director. You really try to make it personal. You reach out, you tell them how much you love them and why you want to work with them. And luckily they said yes.
Well, I love that. There's some great takeaways there. Not only is the power of collaboration, true and truer every time you work on a film. I love that personal touch thing. Recently, I was doing an interview and someone mentioned something that I think is maybe not a big talked about role of the director, but that is just sort of maintaining a good energy on set, making sure people are okay. And I love that. I love writing the letter. I mean, that's a great advice to people aspiring who need to get casting. What are you guys working on next? Do we have more episodes of Imaginary Friends coming?
Oh man, we hope so.
Yeah, we're getting that out there. We got with the writer's strike and the actor's
Yep.
strike, of course, that puts a kink in things. But
Totally.
we've got a lineup of people that we're sending the project to that are both, larger production companies and the buyers, streamers and so on. So that Imaginary as a series, we're not just trying to sell this as like, oh, here's our short film.
Right.
We do have a goal in mind, and that's great. And Dave and I have a couple of other projects that are definitely in the works with some bigger players involved. Thank goodness. And again, the writer's strike the actor strike is putting a pause on a few things, but a romantic comedy is pretty big and based on a book. That's a lot of social media element to it, so we're proud of that. We just finished, if you don't mind me saying, Dave, we just finished a family comedy. We just during the strike, you got to keep working.
Yep.
That's something, a good takeaway. Don't just sit around. And we just finished a feature film script for a family comedy that is pretty out there, and it's a lot of fun. So that's what we're up to. Yeah.
That's a great point. As far as you never stop working. It's such a challenge to get anything off the ground, and you have to push yourself to keep creating, and that's a good lesson to learn of, like, develop get a resume going, get a bunch of scripts, and as far as Imaginary Friends is concerned, we're ready. I mean, we've worked with the writers. We have developed several seasons of the show. We have a Bible that gets us to the end of the series, so we are prepared for when someone sees the vision that we see. We're ready to turn that into a show.
That's awesome. Well, I love that. There's great momentum. I'm super excited to see more. I'm sure it'll happen. And I love this filmmaking duo here. And
thank you.
Thank you guys. People are gonna love Imaginary Friends on July 30th at the Austin Comedy Film Festival.
I know Dave's traveling, but I will be there actually.
Awesome.
I got my ticket and ready to go. So
all right, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey, man, thank you.
Cool.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Amy. Take care.